Hi everybody, it's Russ from iHammers11. I hope you are all safe and well. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing and hitting the little notification bell so you're aware of every time we drop a new video. And we've got lots of guests, lots of great guests coming up, including today's guest. He's head of digital sport at the Reach group of papers, so that's primarily sort of Daily Mirror and the Daily Star. It's Matty Lawless. Hi Matty, how are you?
I'm good, thanks mate. How are you?
Not bad, not bad. It must be strange times for someone sort of involved in writing about sport all the time when there's no sport.
Yeah, it's been crazy, but actually it's been really busy. I mean, there's so much to report on still, and you know, there's the uncertainty of what's going on in the Premier League. But you know, at the time we're recording this today, we're looking forward to the Bundesliga coming back. Yes. So at least there's something, you know.
Yeah. Exactly.
So yeah, no, it's not been too bad.
No, and isn't it? And La Liga's starting in June as well, isn't it? As well, I think they've announced now. So, yes, finally. But
we're nearly back.
Exactly, but it's given us a good chance, this opportunity to sort of obviously think nostalgically and look back at times and go over old clips of YouTube and season review videos and things like that. So it's been quite nice, and that's why everyone's sort of quite hooked up with the channel, because that's what we're doing, just chatting about the old times, you know, when we had live sport.
That's brilliant. I mean, actually, last week I found myself flicking through Sky and came up Leicester versus West Ham when we should have beat them really, but end up 2-2 draw. But even then, I was fixed on it. It was great.
Absolutely brilliant. And you know,
it just reminded me what a team we had then as well.
Exactly. You know? And you know the results as well, but it's still weird. You still think we can grab a winner.
I'll be honest, once Cresswell scored, I knew what was coming, so I switched it off. I was like, no, I'm not going to annoy myself again.
Brilliant. So, Matty, in terms of your sort of West Ham sort of fan career, so to speak, you know, what would be sort of your earliest memories of West Ham?
Oh, God, tough one, really. I mean, I actually supported Nottingham Forest when I was about 5 because we played them, of course, in the FA Cup semi-final. And, well, the tell is I couldn't get a Hammers shirt, so somebody got me a Forest kit instead. And my dad said, you know, you're never going to go and watch Forest play, so you're a Hammers fan. So that was it, really. And but I think I don't remember the opposition. I mean, probably the first game I went to was sat in the old West Stand in the upper tier in the wooden seats. And I must have been about 6. But I think one of the first games I truly remember going to was when we beat Blackburn in '95, which, you know, again, I was probably, only about 9 years old, I think, so at that time. And it was for a birthday present. And that was the year they won the title. And Mark Reaper and Don Hutchison scored. Brilliant 2-0 win. We sat in the Bobby Moore stand, which was pretty new then, I think. So it was, you know, it was a great experience, and I had a sort of a bit of a run of going to West Ham games and seeing them win, because back then I didn't have a season ticket till I got my first season ticket when I was about 14, I think. So going to the sort of the cup games and odd games here and there. So that was one of the first memories, really, and it really stands out to me.
And obviously, you know, covering West Ham amongst obviously other sport and stuff, and you know, is there any sort of standout moments in, you know, that you can talk about?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, where do I start? I mean, what I always say with West Ham is a lot of people ask me, like, you know, do you go in the press box or things like that? And I don't. I mean, I got a season ticket because West Ham's my love, it's my passion, and it's my release from work. Really, I like to sit in the stands with my family and things like that. And I mean, some of the greatest memories I've got are just going to the games with, you know, my family. I've had some brilliant ones. You know, it came up on the Facebook memories the other day when we beat Spurs at the London Stadium, and there was a great photo of me and my son. That was brilliant. I think game-wise, I think atmosphere, apart from the last game at the Bowling, which was just sensational for all the right reasons. Prior to that, I would probably say it was the Ipswich playoff semi-final, the first one. Christian Daly scoring, Matty Everington as well. Stunning goal. And I just remember Sky capturing me and my dad at the end of the game, sort of hugging each other, and that was that was amazing. And I guess the real best memory I've ever had for West Ham was playing on the pitch with my old man and my uncle. So you know, you can't beat that, really. You can't beat it.
No, not many people can do it now. So
We had the shirt on that you're wearing, actually. That was the kit we wore on the day,
Oh,
which
brilliant.
is, I think, one of the best kits we've had in a long
Yeah,
time.
yeah, no, definitely. And that Ipswich game, when I remember Christian Daly afterwards, like on the pitch doing this sort of
Yeah.
Churchwellian sort of speak, we'll fight on the beaches type thing.
It was
That's
brilliant. I mean,
always
even the
amazing.
start of that game, it was just, I think Will Mellor did the warm-up song or something like that. And the bloke from Two Packets of Christmas, oh, I don't know,
Yeah.
Packet of Christmas, you know the one.
Yeah, we used to drag out the celebrities when those games.
It was bizarre, but I mean, the atmosphere that night was rocking. I mean, it really was, and just brilliant.
And people still talk really highly about that game and that atmosphere, and trying to obviously recreate it as best as they can. But that was just a special night. Yeah, definitely. Brilliant. Okay, Matty. So what we do with this sort of Hammers 11 is quite simple. We try and keep it to a 4-4-2 because I'm crap at video editing more than anything. This is not my day job, obviously. And secondly, you have to be alive to have seen them play, obviously. So otherwise everyone would just put Bobby Moore and Jeff.
Yeah.
I wasn't around for that era, so I can't put them in. I can put in Elian and Javier Marquez, for example. It seems a fair swap. And lastly, it's your 11. So it doesn't have to be the best players. It can be the players that hold dear to you, shit, but they didn't know it type players, or your worst players. It's up to you really who you want to talk about. But it's quite cathartic. It's quite nice to sort of talk about things in nostalgia at the moment. So who are we going to have in goal for the Matty 11 then?
Oh, has to be Ludek McCloskey. It really does. I mean, going back to that memory, like I say, it was a birthday present. Yeah. So I had McCloskey one, got that shirt and treasured that shirt. And actually, Ludo was just a lovely guy. And when I kind of got into reporting and interviewing managers and coaches and things like that, Ludo was one of the coaches at the time. I think when Pards was there during that cup run, and he was just a real gentle giant and just a lovely guy. And I thought he was a great goalkeeper. Really, he had a rick in him, of course. But I mean, anyone just needs to go back and look at that Manchester United last game of the season. He was phenomenal, wasn't he? And for me, Ludo stands out as my number one. But then, I loved Robert Green. He had such a great rapport with the crowd. I mean, he'd always turn around to us in the Bobby Moore low, and whenever we'd sing England's number 6, he was brilliant, and he had so many good games for us, I felt. And Adrian, I mean, talking about memories, I mean, the penalty he scored will always live long in my memory. And again, a lovely guy who I was very fortunate enough to go and do a training session when I was working for the Daily Mail. So I trained with the first team, and that was brilliant. Jussi Jääskeläinen was trying to make a point of really pinging him at me, but Adrian he was fantastic, really good guy. But for me, like I say, Ludo number one all day long.
Got to be Ludo. Brilliant. Okay, we'll put Ludo between the sticks. Who should we have on left back then, Messi?
One guess, it's Julian, isn't it? It's got to be Dixie.
I thought he was going to say Raz Van Rat, but no, we'll have Julian Dix.
Dixie was quality. I mean, again, a really nice bloke as well. I'm going to say this about a lot of people, I think, but he was just, for me, one of my idols growing up as a kid. Terminator. Just loved him. He was just no nonsense, kick people up in the air, and he was the type of player that made you proud. Really, he fought for West Ham. He really did, and he scored some special goals and penalties. He scored. I mean, I remember him pretty much breaking Schmeichel's hand when he just fired it at him. And so many good goals from Dixie. So, and we had a fish called Julian. So
there we go.
Named in his honour.
You said you had a fish. Has he unfortunately gone down the toilet since then?
Yeah, one of those. He went on holiday.
Okay, went to the farm with the others. Yeah, and in terms of those penalties, no one, for your experience, no one does it anymore now. No one just thumps it.
I mean, no one does. I mean, I didn't really get to see Ray Stewart play.
No,
but I remember my old boss Lee Clayton always saying to me, when it comes to penalty, Ray Stewart, and I'd always argue, saying no, Dixie. But we've had some great penalty takers, to be fair. With obviously Nobes, but Dixie for me, I just loved how he just wallop it.
Yeah, and you knew what you were going to get with it, and it's like, but still they went in, and it's like, everyone thinks P too clever and tries to dink it or does something clever with it, but actually, Just thump it. Right, okay, we'll put Dixie on the left and left back. Who are we going to have at right back then, Matty?
Struggle with this one, but I mean, he's a utility man, but I loved him anyway. Steve Potts.
Oh, Potsy.
Potsy could play anywhere against across that back four. So for me, I'm going to slot him in at right back. But again, he was Mr. Reliable, wasn't he? He never really let West Ham down. So and he's still at the club now, isn't he? He's with the youth team coaching them. So I was just always ashamed that I always wanted to see his son Dan progress really, and he kind of threatened to, but never did. But he's gone on to have a decent career at Luton. So But Potsy for me, lovely.
And you never know. You never know these players. A couple of cool seasons again, and quickly they shoot up the league, don't they? When they're looking for lower league talent and stuff like that. Potsy, God bless him, and so many gains to the club as well. Real servant at the club, same as Julian and Ludo. Right, okay. Yeah. Who are we going to have in the centre back positions then, Matty?
Well, first of all, Rio Ferdinand. Just a Rolls Royce of a player. I mean, I remember him just striding out thinking, my God, he's too good for us.
He knew it, didn't
he? I mean, as much as we wanted to cling on to him, you just knew he was always going to go on to become a world-class centre-back. He was phenomenal. The way he was a first real ball-playing defender I'd watched. And, just so intelligent, the way he scanned the pitch and dealt with danger. He was formidable in the air. Just a real good player. And I love watching him. It was great to see him go on and have a good career. And he's another one, actually, that real nice fella. And he still goes to watch West Ham. I see one of the last games I was at, obviously before lockdown. He was there with his family. So, it's good to see that he still holds the club in high regard.
Definitely.
And I think alongside him, I've got to pick Winston Reid. It's not maybe a choice not many would say, but I think when Winston Reid signed, it was quite funny actually. The club put out a statement saying we've signed this World Cup star, and everyone's like, "Oh, brilliant! Who is it?" And saying that it was Winston Reid, and everyone's like, "Who?" But I think Reedy was when he came to us, he kind of had the first season, wasn't very good, but that was a tough season anyway. Obviously, we got relegated. But then he came into his own that first season in the Championship, scored that brilliant goal against Millwall, of course, as the song goes. And he was great. And that next season, when we got back to the Premier League, he was such a good player. Even, talks with Liverpool wanted him. And he got that big deal. Scoring that last goal at the Bowling as well. For me, he's got to be in the team. And we've had some good memories. Just a shame, really, that he didn't quite get the send-off that really should have had, and he's over in America now.
Yeah, exactly. And I think I remember when we signed him, because I think there was talk of it just before the World Cup we were going to sign him, and I was watching news and I thought this guy's mustard, and then when I was really happy we signed him. But as you said, like World Cup player, great. We got Nesta. No, we got New Zealand. New Zealand's like brilliant. But no, I think
we only paid £4 million for him.
Yeah, we did pay from Danish club, wasn't it? I think we signed him from.
Yeah, Midtjylland, I think it was, and for me, very good player. We were lucky. I mean, I wanted to put Ginger Pele in there because I loved him. But for me, Winston, just because of some of those goals that he scored, those important goals, he deserves selection for me.
Yeah, and he does go down in folklore history forever. So scoring that last goal. Right, okay, nice West Ham, I'd say, back four there, back five of Ludo. Okay, right, who are we going to go in for midfield then, Matty? Who are we going to go left wing?
Left wing, Dimitri Payet. He's just, oh God, what a player. He really was. Just think back to that last season. He was something else. He was box office, really. He was such a strange one because he loved playing for West Ham at that time. And then whatever happened. And, I was told that he kind of become a bit of a recluse in the dressing room, didn't really want to interact with others. And the writing was on the wall, sadly. But for that one season we had with him, even that half a season when he scored that incredible goal against Middlesbrough at the London Stadium, he was just fantastic. But kind of a real shame that we didn't grab hold of him sooner. And maybe he didn't really go on to, you're talking about that when he played for France at the Euros that summer, one of the best players in Europe, if not the world at that
Ballon
stage.
Ballon d'Or nominee. When was the last time West Ham had one of them?
it just says it all for me, really.
Yeah.
And I know he got some pelters, like obviously when he left. I think because everyone was just so upset.
Yeah.
The way it was handled, but really he could have been a true West Ham great. But just that kind of tainted it for him, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I agree. I know what you mean. But as I said, I think
But
that isolation that season,
in terms of players I've seen at West Ham, you know, by far one of the best.
Yeah, exactly. And I remember when he got when he was injured in that sort of last season, and he came back and he was on the bench, and everyone was chanting for about 20 minutes the song, and he came on and he did a twirl, and it was like, oh, he's back, thank God. That
was it. I mean, it was against Everton, wasn't it, where they done a job on him. You know, you knew they did, and they'd done him well. But I think if we wouldn't have got injured, who knows, we might have finished in the top 4 that season. We were close.
We were very close.
But what a player he really was. And he's sort of player that you give your right arm to see again over at West Ham.
But there was nothing about him. You look at him as a player, and he was quite stumpy. He wasn't the fastest, but he just glide past players, and we haven't had a player like that for a long time.
A pure footballer.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, pure football player, and like you mentioned with the song, it just galvanised the whole crowd. Everyone was. I mean, I remember that last game, and the stadium was rocking with that song.
Amazing,
it really was. But,
and the play of a song, the last one properly would have probably been Di Canio. Joe Cole, in and out, and Colton, but there was one who, there was a song to represent an era of football for West Ham. It was, the Payet song, the Canio song, so yeah, no, I agree.
Absolutely, mate.
Yeah, brilliant. Okay, we'll put him on the left. Who are we going to have on the right then?
Trevor Sinclair. I thought Sinks was a fantastic signing. One of the great Harry signings, really.
Yeah.
And I even think back to when he was a late draft call up to the England squad at World Cup in 2002.
Yeah.
For me, one of the best players in that squad that year. He was fantastic, and some of the things he did for West Ham, the goals he scored. I know he had a great bright start at QPR, and he scored those overhead kicks, but he scored some brilliant ones for West Ham too. I always think back to Boxing Day when we smashed Charlton 5-0. That was one of her great memories. But, he goes down in folklore for me since for that Intertoto Cup run we had, winning that. But obviously the delivery played to Di Canio for one of probably the best goal I've ever seen.
Yeah, no, exactly. And it's been said a few times on the channel, but, since Sinks, since it maybe Declan now, we've never had sort of that England regular. He played like 13, 14 games for England that 2002 season.
Yeah.
And obviously, it was nice having a player who was playing for West Ham and playing regularly for England. Obviously Rob Green, but obviously then they got tarnished. But I think tricky Trev, love him. Okay, brilliant. We've got some pace and some skill on both sides there. Okay, right. Who are we going to have in the middle then, Matty?
You know what? Midfield, there's so many options. Yeah. It really was. But I've whittled it down to 2. Mark Noble, for me, he's got to be in the team.
Yeah.
He really has. It's his birthday today, actually. He's 33 today. I just love Nobes. What a gentleman. An ambassador for our club. If you want to kind of give a youngster an example of a good player, a good professional, he is it all day long. Some of the things he does off the pitch just doesn't often get recognised, but the charity work he does and the community work he does, it's just phenomenal. And he's one of the first people, if you ever go to the club, like on the media days or whatever, I mean, I've been fortunate enough that the club have always trusted me over the years, and I've been able to visit the training ground on days when media is not supposed to be there. And Nobes is always the first to kind of walk up and shake your hand. He's just a real great guy. And I love the fact that he had that testimonial at the Boleyn. It was a special day, really, really good. I was lucky enough again to be invited down to pitchside for that game and watch the penalties unfold and all that. And it was just great memory.
Yeah.
But Nobes, like I say, on the pitch for us, he's never let us down, never. People always say, his legs are gone. For me, it's not an argument. He makes up for whatever it is with his heart and soul. And I'd give him a deal for the end of time. I really
Yeah,
would. I
no,
know
no,
his
definitely.
contract might be coming up next summer. I think it is. For me, I'd just make him a club ambassador for life. I could see Mark Noble managing West Ham one day.
Yeah,
Really
no,
good.
definitely. I can see him being very similar to the way Potsy's sort of treated. He'd be in the academy, and he will not be more than 100 yards away from London Stadium for the rest of his life.
No, we need to make sure that I just don't ever want to see Mark Noble attached to another football club. He needs to be West Ham for life.
Yeah, no, I agree. And you say when people say his legs are gone, I think that was more of a case sort of 3 years ago, 2 years ago. They were gone. Now it's like he's found some new leg. He's
Definitely, yeah. And he's for me, he's one of the first picks in the team every
definitely.
week. You can notice it when he's not playing. We miss him dearly, and that's something we need to look towards. We need to find a leader. Hopefully, Declan Rice will stay because I think Declan's superb, and he's someone that I would have loved to pick in this team, but a bit too soon for him just yet. But yeah, Nobes for me. Just what a leader.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, who's going to part the Nobes in the middle then, Matty?
Joey Cole, all day long for me.
Yeah.
I just, I remember growing up and watching Joe Cole come through the ranks, and I'd never seen a player with such skill and flair and audacity. I mean, I think back to that Rabona he did against Coventry in the FA Youth Cup.
Yeah.
What is he doing? I mean, he was like a Brazilian. He was our new Gaza, really, and it's just a remarkable player and another person that, again, real top bloke. He really is, and he genuinely loved West Ham. I know he's gone on and he's sort of attached to Chelsea now, but he definitely he's got that West Ham fire in his belly still. He looks out for the club, and I'm sure that one day he'd love to be associated to us again. But even when he came back, that second stint, I thought it was magnificent. And he came back and real good return against Man United in the FA Cup, I believe it was, in the third round. But yeah, Joey, just phenomenal player.
Yeah, and I think people now are appreciating, how much of a football brain he's got, because now he's doing a lot of punditry on BT Sport and stuff, and he comes across so level-headed when he talks.
Very intelligent, and I would argue that he's probably one of the best pundits at the moment. I love Gary Neville. I think he's so insightful, and Carragher for his passion, but Joe Cole just for his intelligence.
Football brain, it's a football brain, isn't it? That's what they've got, and it's true what they say. Brilliant. Okay, our midfield is looking tasty. We've got a lot of skill. It'd be interesting to see Payet and Cole in the same team, but I think, could you imagine? Right, okay, who are we having up front then, Matty?
Well, Carlos Tevez. My son was born in 2007, and Mrs. L vetoed me calling him Carlos. Yeah, he was born in September. No, but I just love Tevez. I mean, again, another player where there was such a clamour for him to play with the fans, and he gave us everything. He gave us every drop of sweat and blood and tears he could possibly muster. And God, I mean, that game against Spurs where he finally opened his account, jumping into the crowd, the pure emotion of it. It was just, for me, that kind of, whatever he went on and did beyond that, everyone would have loved him anyway, just for that celebration alone. But there's some, he kept us up 100%. I mean, everybody, he brought the rest of the team up. That's what he did. He galvanised the rest of the squad. I think he played a big role in the likes of Mark Noble coming on a bit, because everyone could see, listen, if this guy is prepared to do it for us, why shouldn't we? And I think everybody else kind of lifted it from then. And Kerbishley, I think, often gets overlooked, but he did a good job actually, keeping us up there.
And the way he
obviously
moved,
Tevez was the catalyst behind it.
Exactly, but he moved. But the way he sort of took the shackles somewhat off Tevez, because under Pards he wasn't the player that he was under Curbs, and I think very similar to Moyes and Arnautovic. They see, and Payet and Bilic. You have to have that sort of combination to work, and it just works, as you said.
It did, and sometimes I mean, particularly with South American players, we've seen it. They need an adjustment period, and unfortunately for Pardew, we didn't have the same Carlos Tevez when he arrived as the Carlos Tevez that left West Ham. Who went on to be, Champions League winner with Manchester United, won the title with Man City, and just went on to have a glorious career. But even then, when you look at interviews now with Tevez, he genuinely got that passion for West Ham still, hasn't he? Which is great.
Yeah, and it's funny when when players leave, particularly academy players, go to other clubs. You still, despite the fact they've got a Chelsea shirt on for joke, he's still West Ham boy. You know, and it's like he's still West Ham. You know, it's like you sort of almost like live the life for the player through him. Yeah, no, brilliant, love it. Okay, we put Tevez in. Who's going to partner Tevez up front?
Paolo Di Canio.
This is a fun team, I tell you. Love it.
I mean, Paolo was my favourite ever West Ham player. He really was. I remember being a kid, and then you could. I mean, the school I went to was just over the road from the training ground, actually. And we shouldn't have done this, but we skipped a lesson and we popped down to the training ground because you could in those days.
Yeah,
this was not long before John Hartson kicked Eyal Berkovic in the head. Yeah. And I just remember like Harry was so accommodating, and he'd be like, "Shouldn't you be at school, boys?" And no, we're okay, Harry. And Paolo, get off, move on, and then Paolo would be jogging out and with his trainers in his hand, just different class. And but then on the pitch, like I say, one of my favourite West Ham games, we beat Bradford, just real roller coaster that game, and Paolo he summed it up. That was his game, wasn't it? And he wanted to come off the pitch. Harry said no. He wanted to take the penalty. Lampard was saying no, but he took it. And it just
that
twist,
match
trickery.
Exactly, that match encapsulated Paolo Di Canio. Sort of the the fiery side, the skillful side. If they ever want to talk about Paolo Di Canio, just watch that match, and that will tell you everything you need to know.
Real nutcase, wasn't he?
Yeah, and West Ham love a nutcase.
Again, it's another type of player that fans will always appreciate. Players that kind of give everything for the club. And I think there are still some players in the team who are a bit like that. I'd say Mikel Antonio's got those qualities. And that's probably why fans do like him. But for me, Di Canio was just number one. And I only ever had, three players. I only ever had three players named on the back of my shirt growing up. And that was obviously Ludo, Di Canio, and then Tevez. That was the last name and number I've ever had on a shirt. And probably ever will do.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. And
but now we kind of seem to curse the players that come in, because my son Freddie, whenever the new season starts, we get him a kit. He's had a few on. He's had Payet, he's had Arnautovic, he's had, Fornals has been okay, but they seem to leave. So we've cursed them a bit. Next season he's getting Noble. Yeah, just get Noble. You know who you are. That's not going to happen with him. Yeah, I know what you mean. I mean, honestly though, for me that's the best 11 players I could put together for West Ham. But honestly, so many players that I could have picked in there, like. John Moncur, loved him. Just the fact that he'd come on and kick someone, get booked straight away. He's just a real entertainer. Michael Carrick, for his technical ability, was sensational to watch. Yeah. And I think with Mickey Carrick, I don't think he gets the credit he deserves sometimes, because when we got relegated, he could have walked into any other team. But he actually stayed committed to West Ham for that season in the Championship, or Division 1 as it was then. Yeah. It's just unfortunate for him that he went to Tottenham. But I think had he gone to another club, I think he would have probably had a bit more of a legendary status, maybe with the fans. But definitely. And but then Scott Parker, that season he won Player of the Year, incredibly.
3 in a row.
Even though got 3. And Yossi Benayoun, I thought, was a wonderful football player. He really was. And then of course, striker-wise, Dean Ashton. What could have been with Dean Ashton. He really was just a real handful of a player. I thought a £7 million bargain, which was quite a high transfer fee then.
It was.
But that season, we got to the FA Cup final, beating Man City in the quarterfinals away. What a night we had that night. That was good fun. And Dino was just, again, another player who had a song, wasn't he? And,
he did. And he one of those players who, on his day, was unplayable, wasn't he? And I agree. I think if he wasn't injured because of the injuries, I think he would have been England regular. Him and Rooney up front, he may not have been at West Ham for much longer.
No.
But again, I think we were robbed of a fantastic player. Would have definitely graced many more 11s, that's for sure. Matty, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for your time, everybody.
I've enjoyed it. Thank you.
It's been great, isn't it? Just chatting about the old days. And obviously, thank you to you for watching. Obviously, like, share, watch them all. We've got tons more coming up soon. And take care, everybody. Stay safe.